Hey everyone. Long time lurker, first time poster. This MC comes from my time working at a bank, in their contact center. I literally have hundreds of stories about that place and its customers, but today I'd like to share a story that has always brought a smile to many a suffering customer service co-worker's face about the time we got one back for the good guys. Backstory: I was employed as customer service officer. I'd been with the bank for about 18 months at this point, mostly working afternoon shifts, but recently the bank had moved to a 24-hour customer service model, so while most of the bank would be closed, head office, complaints, credit etc., we were still open. Cast: me, night manager, customer, head of customer relations and retentions. Let me set the scene. 10 PM, midweek. Fluorescent lights flicker overhead, the call board empty and I'm literally counting the seconds left in my shift, ready to go home. Phone call pops onto my screen. I think shit. I always get a call just before I finish. Me, mustering my best customer service voice. Hi, thanks for calling, bank. You're speaking with you/absurd nihilistic. How can I help you? I hear nothing but dead air, so I start to repeat myself. Hi, you're speaking we. When I hear the tone of voice and words every contact center worker has heard at some point, it just lets you know you're in for a great call. Not customer *LOUD sigh yes. I'm here. Got what takes you people so long to answer? What are you doing? As noted before, there was no calls on the board. This customer didn't wait in queue. He would have dialed, gone through to the IVR to enter his customer number and PIN before being put through to me. Maximum 60 seconds. Me, trying to not provoke any further and get this customer off the phone as quickly as I can, so I can go home. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Our system doesn't show a queue, but I'm sorry that you had to wait. What can I do for you this evening? Customer seems to settle down and starts explaining that the reason for the call was the interest charges on the most recent credit card bill. He was sure they were a mistake because I always pay my bills on time and I don't like paying you bloodsuckers any more than I have to. Charming, I know. So I place him on hold to look at his account. I started looking at the payment history, when payments were due/received, what the balances were etc. Then, I quickly looked at the customer's interaction notes. This is where the bank records any contact with the customer, as well as any fee waivers, special interest rates etc. And I see an interesting series of notes from colleagues of mine stating things like customer advised interest was charged due to full payment not received by due date. Customer threatened to close all accounts with bank. Manager approved interest waiver. Notes like this went on for months, until there was a note from the head of customer relations and retention stating, if customer threatens to close accounts, to seek waiver of fees, interest or other charges, please process immediately. No retention authorized. I was a bit shocked, because usually the bank would do a lot to keep existing customers, like they told us in training, it's cheaper to keep a customer than it's to gain a new one. So I call over my night manager to read the notes and give him a heads up I've got a feeling the customer is going to be demanding another interest waiver. My cool night manager said well if he does, do what the note says. Total hold time, maybe 2 minutes. I take the customer off hold and thank him for waiting. Customer, about time. My time is very valuable, you know. So have you fixed it yet? I start explaining that the interest charges are valid because he didn't pay off his balance before the due date. He goes ballistic. He starts calling me every conceivable name under the sun and mid-sentence stops. He plays it like has just had an idea. Fine. If the interest charges are valid, I'm going to close my accounts. I want to close my accounts with you now. At this point I'm excited about putting him in his place, but I also want to cover my ass, so I ask. Me, so, just to be certain, you are instructing me to close all of your accounts with us, including your credit card, savings account and transactional account? Customer, are you stupid? That's what I said. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Me, grinning my ass off. Okay, no problems. I'll just place you on hold to do that for you. I hit the hold button fast, just as I heard him say no. With my night manager's help we close his accounts. His savings account was a term deposit, so by breaking the term early he had to pay an early access fee of 10% of the balance. We used the money in his transactional account to cover the outstanding balance in his credit card, including the interest, and sent a request for a check to be issued for the remaining money. I took the customer off hold. Me, again, thank you for your patience. As requested, your accounts are now closed. Was there anything else I can help with tonight? If I thought the customer went ballistic before, oh boy. There was talk of suing the bank, suing me, suing my night manager, suing head of customer relations and retentions. That we were guilty of discrimination. That I didn't have the authority to do what I did. Has going to call the police. We're thieves. Some other ways of telling me how useless I am and how I can kill myself. You get the picture. Me, still smiling because I know I nor anyone else at my bank will have to deal with this asshole again. Sir, I understand you are upset. However, on a recorded phone call you instructed me to close your accounts. I've complied with your wishes, as there is nothing else for us to speak about tonight. Thank you for calling, bank. Have a good night. And hung up on him before he could say another word. My night manager created an incident report and sent it to head of customer relations and retentions with an attached copy of the call recording. I later found out head of customer relations and retentions sent the customer a letter telling him he was banned from our bank for life due to the vile and disgusting way he had spoken to me. We would never do business with him ever again, and if he called or visited a branch, we would be the ones calling the police. Do you want to know what the total interest charges were that started all this? $30. His term deposit had $20,000 in it. He cost himself $2,000 in early exit fees because he thought he could bully his way out of $30 in interest. Lurker here. All of your amazing stories reminded me of my own. So, flashback to my first year of teaching. I was a 21-year-old middle school teacher, fresh out of college and extremely green. I was admittedly shaky when it came to parent communication. It is quite intimidating to speak to a parent as an equal when you are less than 10 years older than their children. Many of them were old enough to be my parent, which made things awkward for me. Enter mom. Her daughter, Diva, did absolutely nothing in my class except stir up drama, be extremely rude and obnoxious, and generally anything but do her work. Now, student grades are easily accessible at all times through an online parent portal, so I have always been of the opinion that parents should never be surprised by grades at the end of the quarter. So the end of the second quarter is drawing to an end, and I get an abrasive email from mom demanding a parent/teacher conference with an administrator present. Of course, teachers are instructed to meet with a parent anytime they want a conference. One of my assistant principals sat in on the meeting. From the moment mom sat across from me, I knew where Diva got her attitude. Mom was belligerent, accusing, and rude. She began to angrily accuse me of causing her daughter to fail. Somehow my fault. Basically, I should have done everything under the sun to make sure she didn't fail. I should have contacted her early. I should have sent home extra copies. I should have been checking Diva's agenda, etc. While I admittedly should have called her early, her chewing me out in front of my boss was the most embarrassing moment of my career. My assistant principal worked out a compromise that went like this. Since mom didn't want a lot of phone calls, apparently a busy person, it was agreed that I would write a note to mom in Diva's agenda every Friday about her grade and her missing work. Embarrassed and chastised, I could barely look my boss in the eye. I resolved that I would comply to the fullest, so much so that it would be annoying. I would be above reproach, so that she could never berate me like that again. However, I never could have imagined the incredible events that followed. In the weeks that followed, I not only wrote in Diva's agenda, but I printed off lists of her missing assignments, progress reports, and letters home, and stapled them to her agenda. I did this every week, without fail, and Diva's behavior did not change. By the end of the third quarter, she was missing 8 assignments and was failing my class yet again. Lo and behold, I get an email from mom demanding a parent/teacher conference with a principal present. She arrives and starts in on me again about how I'm unprofessional and how I'm not supporting her daughter and how I had yet again failed to notify her that her daughter was failing. Then, the realization struck me. She had never looked at the agenda. I painstakingly stapled progress reports, letters, and missing work into her agenda for nearly 3 months, and she never once checked. A grin broke across my face. Me, can we look at Divas agenda? There's something I think you should see. Mom leaves the room and comes back with Divas agenda. Me begins flipping through the agenda, showing her every single page that I wrote on or STAPLED asterisk. Me, now, if you'll notice, I have written in Divas agenda and stapled progress reports, letters to you, and lists of missing work into her agenda every single week since we last spoke, as per our agreement. Are you telling me that you didn't check her agenda once? Mom, blood drains from her face as she realizes her credibility with my principal is now gone. Me, at this point in the quarter, it is too late for your child to turn in makeup work. Please be sure to be checking your child's agenda every Friday for an update concerning her progress. In order for your child to be successful, you need to be involved. Do you have any questions? Mom, stammering with excuses and apologies for not checking. By this point I could tell that my principal was stifling laughter, so I knew that I had won. Mom left very quickly, and I never received one of those harsh emails again. Divas behavior didn't improve at all, but I rode the satisfaction of that W all the way through to summer. If you enjoyed the stories, slap the like and subscribe button for more of them, and don't forget to support the original writers with an upvote. Links are in the description. Peace out, and catch you tomorrow.